This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Hope you're all doing well. Some interesting stuff coming out about Manchester United this morning. Could Mazraoui be heading to AC Milan? That to me would be a huge mistake, but within the confines of how United operate now, and we've got some very big insights coming in on why United didn't go Fernandes and why Man United won't spend over £80 million. And apparently it's logical. Apparently, we've been indoctrinated so much as a fan base now that we should understand why we won't give a player under 200 grand a week. And we should understand why we won't pay over £70 million for a player anymore. Screw that for a game of blockbusters. We'll delve into that as well. And if we're looking at selling people like Mazraoui, then we truly are Everton. We truly are lost. But I want to start off with, not England. No, that's a different channel. England, Argentina, Wednesday. Very interesting. But we might have a little bit of time to talk about Manu at the end, because let's leave that for a little bit. But latest on midfield recruitment for Manchester United is we're probably not expecting a significant day today, but next week will be very big for Manchester United. It is July the 12th. In a week's time, it will be July the 19th. Calendars with Goldbridge. But it's a significant week for Manchester United because we've only got 7 weeks left in the window and we basically need to do about 7 deals when you think about outgoings and incomings as well. So they have got to get moving. The latest around Gomes and Koné is that talks have certainly taken place with Koné. Gomes, I would suspect they probably have as well, but I don't have that info. And we've got a decision to make. But you know what? I was thinking about this before we go on to the next thing.
And 50 million for João Gomes all of a sudden. That was never the case before. But in this window, do we just have to accept that and go in and pay that? Is this what Man United are prepared to do to get a bit of Premier League experience in there at the right age? Of course, Gomes is still only young, 24 going on 25. So it's the type of player that you want in your team. It's the profile of player and what he brings, I think, that's coming into the picture here now. How far are you willing to go for that type? And this is the decision that Manchester United have now got to make. They knew that this was going to happen with the prices. They knew if Mendes was involved, it was going to happen with Gomes. The World Cup is determining what happens with Manu Koné. And I don't blame Roma either for trying to look for a higher price. United just have to be prepared for this to happen and deal with it. Don't use it as an excuse in a way. Try and negotiate the best deal you can, but obviously this is this market right now and how awkward it can be. And a couple of decent games in the World Cup can make that price just go through the roof. And this, I think, is going to be the decision United have to make, because there are other targets out there as well that they could go for. As soon as United are mentioned to any player, it's going to go up. So they're all going to be quite expensive, aren't they? You got 50 million to spend on one midfielder. Who would you go for? Manu Koné or João Gomes? Let me know, people. Get in there and try and have your say in the chat as well. If you are going to come in with your opinion in the live chat also on that, give me a bit of context as to why you would pick a certain player over another one. Again, I think 50 million is probably a fair valuation on Koné from where he is right now. Doing well with Roma, taking them back into the Champions League for the first time in God knows how long, being part of this French World Cup squad and holding his own in that position going into the last 4 of this tournament. I think his valuation is probably right. I do think that when you look at the market, I think is a fair valuation of him right now. Whether you think the market is fair, that's a different story. But if you're going off how it's going this summer, then that's quite cheap for a midfielder, isn't it? Manchester United, by the way, fully in for Bouadi. And this is why the intrigue is growing around this week. And then, obviously, when the World Cup finishes, like we said, with multiple options out there for Manchester United now. The noises are not quieting down on any of Man United's targets. We've just talked about Koné and Gomes. I expect them, with what's being said, to push forward this week. But United can fall back onto other options if they want to. Now, we know we need to. Romano came out last night and said United want midfielders instead of another midfielder now. So we know something's coming and he knows something's happening behind the scenes now because he's changed his tone again with this. He also... it was quite sad yesterday, and I can't remember if I even mentioned this about the Edison situation. United are not going to say anything about this. They're just going to go through this week, and Edison's not even going to be spoken about by the sounds of it. But Edison has been told to go back home. He's been told to leave and go back to Atalanta now. On the personal side of things, he's been informed, get back, He's now gone on holiday, apparently. And this has all been completely swept under the carpet by Manchester United. Not one correspondent or British journalist in the last 2 days, if we include yesterday and then this morning's reports. Obviously, something else could come out later on today. But if you look at the last day and then today, after what Romano said again in the early hours of yesterday morning, and we did the show in the morning, Romano shuts down Edison talk and United move on to Koné and Gomes. Not one British journalist has come out and said anything else after that briefing from Manchester United when this all hit the fan on Friday evening when Edison was off. So obviously the journalists came back out and countered what Romano said. Then Romano came back and countered that, and nothing. Complete silence from all British journalists on the Edison front. So Romano was right, very, very clearly. United don't have to say anything. Edison's been told to go back home. He's not going to Manchester United. He's off. So on the personal side of things, he's nowhere near Manchester. There's going to be no announcements, and that deal is gone. United moving on to 2 more midfielders now. Romano hinting at that again, along with other journalists also, about the next 2 players to come in, because United, obviously, we're missing out on Edison. We were told that we're going to buy another player as on top of Edison and Santos. Now, Santos is the only player there. It's changed completely for United, and we know we're getting another 2 now. Bouadi is a player Man United want. They do want Bouadi. That's the reports. They're the reports, that are going around. And United's interest has never waned. They've never come away from Bouadi. They were looking at him all the way through last season. They've been looking at him throughout the World Cup. They've scouted him thoroughly. There is going to be a point in this window where United make a decision on a certain midfielder. And I don't know which way they're going to go. Could they go down the cheaper road of going getting Koné and maybe Gomes? Or does Bouadi come back into this here and turn out to be Man United's big buy in midfield? It all depends on the cheaper buys within the midfield as well. So your Santos, is there somebody cheaper than Santos that could give you the money to go out and get a Scott or a Bouadi on top of that? How much can you get Koné for? If you can get Koné for under 50 million, then I think United have probably got room to maybe go and negotiate a deal for Bouadi as well. And I'm still convinced they can go and get Alex Scott. We're waiting for updates on Scott, by the way. That's gone quiet at the moment with everything else that's going on. Obviously, talk of the town is the Edison situation, then Koné coming onto the scene, and now Gomes too as well now, and rekindling the interest in him. So Scott's drifted off a little bit, and now we're looking at potential targets in Koné and Bouadi from overseas and Gomes from the Premier League. One more name has come up again this morning, and he was up against England yesterday. I don't think his performance was that good, to be honest. Sander Berge, obviously, yesterday in that semi-final, up against it. Tough game as it was. I'll be doing a video and the paper round, of course, on Adam FC, where there'll be plenty of England talk going on there as well. But Sander Berge, it's that phrase, that popular phrase this summer transfer window, keep an eye on this player. Watch this situation. Watch this one. This could start to come forward with Sander Berge very, very soon, I feel. And again, with them out of the World Cup, do United look at Sander Berge and go, that's a better option for us than a Gomes because he's cheaper? A better option than Koné because he's cheaper? And that's if you are going to go and spend big. Because, look, we're rating players here off of values right now. You could argue, and you're splitting hairs between all of these players. So if you go through Sander Berge, you go through João Gomes, you go through Manu Koné, you go through Bouadi, you go through Alex Scott, like all of these players, very similar level in where they are in their career. Apart from Bouadi, potentially because he's only 18. But in terms of standard, like Bouadi's gone to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. He's doing well in France. He's one of the best performing players in the league. And obviously all of the other players that we've just described there are having good moments in their careers and are ready to make that next move, you could say. All of these players are at that sort of stage. They're all very good standard players. They're not stand out, whoa, United are back transfers. We've gone past that, this transfer window, haven't we? We're deciding on the player based off of the price tag right now. Whether you like it or not, that's the reality. That's what we're doing right now. We're looking at fitting these players in because, look, you cannot tell me that each one of these players is miles better than the next player because they're not. Let's be real, they're not. Some might like the style of Bawadi more to a Manu Koné, and some might like Koné's physicality more than what Bawadi is because I thought he outplayed him in that game between France and Morocco the other night anyway. But you see where I'm going? There isn't loads of difference here. It's not like an elite midfielder like a Tielemans that's head and shoulders above all of them available anymore. So we're dealing with the leftovers. Seems really harsh because all of these players are good, but it pretty much is, isn't it? The leftovers of the World Cup in terms of the midfield pool that we're fishing in. So it's all on price. It's all on price right now. Scott's the most expensive next to Bawadi. Totally different players, completely, I feel, in how they play. Then you move down to the Gomez and the Manu Koné. And then you've got Sander Berg, who is obviously on United's list via The Athletic. And we know where Man United's stance is on this.